Hi, Dhruv. Thank you so much for being here. It's an honor. And
Thank
today
you for having me, man.
we'd like to be in conversation with you regarding your journey as a pro basketballer as well as an amateur basketballer, and just try to get your insight on the current standpoints of basketball in India and why it isn't progressing at the rate that it should. So now Zoravar can introduce what we're basically doing.
So what the Indian marketplace intends to do is provide a forum for the youth in India to express their opinions about major issues that we face in India. These issues can be economic, political, and there can be other issues as well. Today, what we like to discuss with you is the problem of youth sports in India, especially basketball, considering it isn't very widely represented in India.
Uh-huh.
All right. So just starting off on a lighter note, so what age did you start playing basketball, and what was your inspiration to pick up a basketball in the first place?
I've been playing ever since I could walk, literally. And my inspiration has always and still to date and always will be my older brother. Um, so I always looked up to him, right? So he was the one who started playing basketball because of this movie called Space Jam. I don't know if you guys are too young to know what that movie is.
No, I've
But
never
that's why I started playing because I've kind of always idolized him. So he started playing and then I started playing. And then I picked up really quick. And then I started becoming better than everybody else because I became super obsessed with it. And I just never looked back since then, man.
That's great. So, talking about the NBA, are there any players that you idolize or look at their game style and you're just like, that's what I want to be, that's how I want to play?
For sure, man. One guy I definitely look up to more than anybody is Damian Lillard. Just because of the mentality and just because can I swear? And just his
Yeah.
mentality and he just doesn't give a fuck. And because even when he got drafted, he was a very late pick, and it was just his consistent hard work. And he's also 6'1" or 6'2", which
Yeah.
is he's a little taller than me, but it's pretty much my game. So now, for the last maybe 3 to 4 years, I have completely turned my game up around him, and I still to anybody who's watching, just because I watched Damian Lillard and my mentality, none of you guys can guard me. Thank you.
All right, so talking
Speaking
about
of
your...
Damian Lillard, speaking
Yeah.
of Damian Lillard, he's a small guard, and so would you like to tell our viewers what exactly your role in the basketball team is, considering you aren't
So
necessarily the tallest?
So that's the thing, man. You got to figure out what, like, you know how certain players, like, if I know for a fact that I'm small, the one thing I'm going to have over everybody else is my quickness. And I got to make sure I'm in better shape than everybody else. Because even if that's bigger dudes, if they want to dribble the ball around me, I'm not going to let them do that just because I know I'm quicker. I know my pace will not change from the first to the fourth quarter. It's going to be the same pace. Because my fitness is way better. And you got to be strong as fuck. Because if you're small, going up against like 7-footers, 6'10", 6'8", you need to be strong as hell for that, man. You know what I mean? So most athletes, most younger kids in India don't lift weights thinking कि हमारी height रुक जाएगी or this is not the right time. That's complete bullshit. So strength training is so important in basketball, and ever since I've gone pro, I've realized how much of a difference it is. So anybody watching, man, just work out. If you're small, find out what works for you, what you can do to impact a game and make your teammates better.
Okay. So when you were talking about your game, what do you feel are your strongest assets when you're on the court? Like what?
Mhm.
So you get the ball in a game situation. What's your one go-to move and one thing that you know for a fact that if you pull that off, there's no chance the defense can stop you?
See, for me, if you're gonna let me shoot the ball, that's my strongest. Like I can shoot the ball. It doesn't matter if there's a hand in my face. If I can get my shot off, I'm like any shot I take, even if I'm shooting from half court, in my mind, it's a good shot, and I'm not gonna miss. So my go-to move is just fucking shoot the ball, man.
Right. So talking about your career, what's the proudest moment? Because you've played at many international levels, many very, very, very high levels that people like us could only dream of getting to. So what do you feel is your proudest moment in your career so far?
Definitely, man. This is not even close. So round 2 of the 3BL season 2. Before that, like just because like I post a lot of things on social media, and not a lot of other basketball players are doing that, so I tend to get a lot of hate and a lot of people telling me that you're not good enough, you're all show. And I was getting a lot of shit towards myself after the first round in the 3BL because I didn't play very well. And then the second round, I won MVP of the entire of that round. I was MVP. So that was actually one of the most emotional moments for me because I proved so many people wrong. And more than anything, it was just such a big win for me. And ever since that day, any court I go to, I don't give a shit who you are, man. According to me, I'm the best player on that court, and I proved it that day. So now in my head, that will always stick with me.
All right. So,
Okay.
have you ever
Speaking
faced
of
any
proud
points-
moments,
Yeah,
speaking of proud moments on a basketball court, Dhananjay, would you like to tell us any of the proud moments you've had on a basketball court, considering you played at the
Yeah,
state
why
and
don't you?
national level?
Let's hear something you've done, man. And
honestly,
if you say
like-
Magnolias, I'm gonna slap the shit out of you.
no, it's honestly it's nothing compared to what he's done. So it's not going to be a lot. But I guess now I have to think of that. But,
Take your time.
proudest moment for me. So
Make
there
me
was this
feel
one moment in the game where I was playing for my school team in Bangalore. We were playing our regional tournaments, and 3 of my teammates got fouled out within the first 2 quarters. And so it was just me and my juniors playing, and they were 2 years junior to me. So we were down by, I think, 20 points at the start of the fourth against the reigning champions. And I don't know what happened to me. Usually my shots aren't always the best or whatever, but in that game I ended up scoring 6 3-pointers, and I ended up having 33 points, I think. And me as well as my teammates together, we clutched the game. So, and after that, I had coaches and players from each and every team coming up to me and saying, "Well played" and stuff like that. And I don't know, even the rival coach, even the rival team's coach came up to me and he said how well I played. So that made me feel so good. That made me actually feel like, wow, I've actually done something in this game. This game is something that I can, now I have a statement. I made a statement that, yeah, I can play. Because I was pretty new to my school team as well. So my coaches weren't that confident. And I feel like after that point, that changed. So yeah, again.
But hold up, man. I wanna say something just based off of what you just said, and to anybody, if the younger kids are gonna watch, right? Like for that game for you, you said your players fouled out, so you knew you had to take you had to take your game. You had to switch that mode on, and you had no other option, right? And then when you did that, you actually realized that I can really fucking play. So it's just with Indian ballers, with a lot of players, it's just the mindset. They don't have the confidence. Like if you don't show what you can do, you're not gonna earn anyone's respect. So the fact that you switch that mode on in that game, that's a mentality you should have no matter what game you play, always.
Okay, so considering that basketball isn't that widely played in India compared to a sport like cricket or football, what would you like to say to any of the aspiring basketball players out there in our country?
So pretty much the same thing. Like I'm 26 years old. I finally went pro at the age of 24. Luckily enough, I didn't know if that was going to be any leagues in India. I had no plans of coming back. And now India is really picking up with also the NBA games that just came to India. So to all the younger kids watching, there's a lot of things coming your way. There's a lot of good things that are happening. So at this point, you just got to work on your game every day, and things will fall into place. If you're good enough, if you work your ass off every day, if you show that you've come a long way, people notice those things, man. You don't go unnoticed. Hard work will never go unnoticed. So all the younger guys, just keep working and don't worry so much about the end result. Just kind of enjoy the journey and just keep fucking working hard.
So one more thing I'd like to ask you is, in India, we don't see, especially in basketball, we don't see that many people going pro because of the fact that the opportunities that India provides for a professional basketballer they're barely anything compared to what you could get in Canada or some European countries or America, of course. So how was it? Was it a tough decision for you to, just leave all your studies and focus on basketball and decide I just want to become a basketballer? Because obviously that's not an easy decision, because you have to.
For sure.
It's a huge risk.
Mm-hmm.
So what helped you take that decision?
So for me, man, this has been like a childhood dream. Like I've always dreamt of playing professionally, and the reason I moved to Canada was to pursue that dream. So it's actually crazy because I was just visiting home for 2 weeks and I was supposed to head back to Canada. And then I heard about these 3BL tryouts. And then as soon as I made the team, I was told that I'm going to have to stay back because the season's going to go on and then other things are going to follow. So for me, honestly, it was not a hard decision at all, because it's something I've always wanted to do all my life. And even my parents, man, like they didn't care. They said, if this is what you want to do, if this is what you're going to be happy doing, just go ahead and do it. So it was honestly a no-brainer. Like as soon as I got into the league, I was like, boom, like wasn't even a second thought. I knew I wasn't gonna go back.
That's great. Were you a good student in school?
No. I was like, I just did things if I had to. I wasn't very, I never cared. But once I moved to college, I figured I have to do my own shit. And then from first to my third year, I was like, I went from D's, I was getting A plus and like B minus. So it's not bad.
That's great. That's great. All right. So talking about Indian basketball and the proper issues that we see in Indian basketball today, do you feel that there's any amount of politics involved in the tryouts or the conducting of tournaments around the country?
100%, man. Because most of these tournaments you go for, most of these selections, the tryouts you go for, teams are already picked, man. Teams are already decided. Because there's too much favoring, too much, like, you know, people are so biased towards each other, which is why India doesn't fucking get anywhere. If we have a billion people in the country and not one person is good enough to make it to the pro leagues, that doesn't make any sense. It's because if you're good enough, but you don't have any good contacts. I've been through that so much. It's crazy, man. Even after going pro, I've dealt with so much politics that it's so annoying, man. So that's what it is. It's a lot more than you think. If you think it's 10%, it's probably at 150. There's a lot of politics involved. But that's anywhere in the world, any sport, anything you get into, there's politics involved everywhere. But here it's a bit too much. It's a bit much, and I don't mind saying it out openly. Like it is what it is. It's the way it is.
Also, speaking about the politics, a lot of times due to these politics, when students don't get selected into the state team or the national team, then they stop playing the sport and they think that there's really no future in that sport. So how exactly do you think that when players don't get selected for teams due to politics and not because they're not good enough, how do you think they should combat?
So I have actually been I've been a part of this many times in my life, man. Because now you guys know me, because I play professionally. That's how you know me now. Not a lot of people know what I went through before. So I was stuck into politics so much to the point where me and a bunch of my friends too. So unfortunately, all my friends stopped playing because they're like, man, isme kuch hona hi nahi hai, to chhod. So in my head, like I'm just the kind of guy. If so, these guys kept saying you're not good enough, you're not gonna make the team. So in my head, I was like, I'm gonna be so fucking good that even if you don't think I deserve to make it, everybody else watching, including the players, will know I deserve it. So it's just if someone tells you you're not gonna make it and you feel like it's just politics, that's the reason that you got cut, then you gotta just work your ass off and just show. And luckily we live in the day of social media. So if you're a good player, you put that shit up, everyone's gonna notice. And that's my goal too. That's my goal is to completely cut this shit off completely. That's why I'm super active on my social media, to completely get rid of all this politics bullshit, man.
So are there any incidents that you'd like to share with us where you, because of either politics or just because of a defeat, where you just felt like, to hell with this, I can't do this anymore, and you know what, I'm done, and that's it, basketball's over for me?
No, I've never been through any of that. Like even when I went to college, my first year I was cut. When I played 3BL, there was a all-star world tour India team going. I got cut from that too. But then I ended up making both those teams, and I ended up being the best player on both those teams. So I've never had that. Like I'm just, like call it my ego, call it whatever. Like if someone's gonna cut me off from something and I know I deserve it, I swear to you, man, not even God's gonna stop me from getting there. So I'm just a little obsessed like that. If you're gonna tell me no, I'm gonna make sure that I rub that shit in your face.
Also,
so,
before this, you spoke about how strength training is extremely important in basketball. So would you like to share with us your workout routine and your diet, which keeps you in good shape?
Yeah, so the thing is, as basketball players or any professional athletes, if you need to be working out minimum twice a day, if not 3 times a day. So for that, you need to make sure, because so many people think if I'm working out hard, I can eat whatever I want, I'm not going to gain weight. That's all bullshit, man. Your body needs nutrition. So like my regular days, I would wake up in the morning and go practice like my ball handling, just skill work. Come back, I would have, it's the same shit I have every single day, man. The whole lockdown, I've had sweet potatoes with veggies and chicken thighs or fish. That does not change for me. I've been eating that every single day for the last 4 months. And then I go lift in the evenings. I have, as basketball players, you should never have chest days, back days, arm days. You shouldn't do all of that shit. We're not bodybuilders. You need to have upper body days and lower body days, and like do a lot of plyometrics, a lot of strength work, And if you want to lift heavy, you got to lift heavy in the off season. Don't be lifting heavy during tournaments because that's gonna throw your game off completely. And I'm not gonna share my workouts over here.
So
If you want to
what
share
do
my
you
workouts,
feel?
come train with me. Huh?
Yeah, for sure. I should actually talk to you after this meeting regarding your diet because I need
Yeah.
that. I'm in desperate need of a good diet because I am blowing up. It's bad. So, why do you think basketball isn't getting that much recognition as compared to even for that matter football in our country?
It's just because we didn't have enough leagues out here to kind of show people the platform where they can prove themselves and play well. But now with all these leagues coming up, that's why India is picking up so much of the sport. That's why basketball is really on the rise because now we actually have leagues. We actually have the younger kids saying, "Okay, I'm going to work hard, and that's what I want to get." Earlier, you didn't have a goal you could work towards, but now people know like if I play well, if I work hard, that's where I'm going to end up. So it's coming up slowly, but that's why it's not as popular. But you guys probably don't know this. India was going to qualify for the Olympics for the 3x3, not 5-on-5, the 3x3. So it was going to be big, and I was going to be part of that team. I was ranked one in the country that time, but I didn't even get a chance to go try out because of politics. And please put this up there too. I said it out loud. BFI cut me off because of politics. I deserve to be on that team, but they cut me off. And now India's not going to the Olympics anymore either. So sucks to be you.
So, just two questions about this, like what you just said. First of all, talking about leagues in India that are coming up, the UBL, which is the top 5v5 league in the country that came up. We had, I think, 2 seasons, if I'm not wrong.
UBA.
Yeah, the UBA. Sorry, UBA. And after 2 seasons or a couple of seasons, it was just cut off. And what were your thoughts on that? Why did that happen? Was it necessary? And just why? Like, what is the point of it?
Man, it was crazy because players were actually making really, really, really good money from it. Like more money than you can ever imagine. Like players were getting fat ass contracts, man. Like when I say fat ass, like really, really good money. And then it went really well for 3 seasons, and every season we were just picking up, and it was just getting way bigger, right? And then BFI comes in. I was in Canada at that time, and in my head, I'm like, bro, I want to go back to India, and this is where I want to play, because it was so much money you can actually make a living out of it. That's how much money you were getting, and so just because of all the success, and just because they were like a privately owned thing. So from what I hear, BFI came in and they said if anything is going to happen, it has to be through us. And then BFI was like, no, this is not what we're going to do. We're going to do it our way. So they just cut him off, which sucks.
That's tough. And talking about, you mentioned 5v5 and 3v3. So some of our viewers may not understand what that is and what's the difference, because they know the traditional 5v5 basketball on a full court. So could you just shed more light on what's the difference between the two formats of the game?
So 3x3 is very different. It's only 10 minutes long. I know whoever's going to watch is going to think it's just 10 minutes. It's so easy. 10 minutes or first to 21 points. And in that, the game, like, it does not stop. It's only 4 players per team. 3 are playing, 1 substitute, obviously you can keep rolling. And suppose if I score the ball, the game does not stop. I have to go right back to playing defense. And in a 5-on-5, you can still kind of double team and get away with it. In a 3x3, if I'm going to guard a 7-footer, I should be able to guard all positions. You know what I mean? Because it's not, you need to be versatile. Yeah, because you don't know who you're going to pick up, and you're going to get, because in a 5-on-5, you can still get away with making mistakes. In a 3x3, if you make mistakes, you're going to get exposed. So you need to be good you need to be able to shoot, to drive, to defend, to handle the ball. You need to be able to do everything.
Yeah, and like how you were saying that your most favorite, your best skills on the court are like your shooting and your speed and your agility. So I feel like that probably gives you an upper hand against most other players. I've seen you play. I've seen your highlights as well, and you move so fast on court. Your movements on the ball and off the ball, it's really nice to watch. Like,
thank you, man. I appreciate you saying that.
Being a fan of the sport is really, and for that matter, seeing an Indian play that way, it's really nice. It makes me feel happy.
I really appreciate that, man. Thank you for saying that. I really appreciate that.
Also, speaking about these leagues, so now we've had 3 Indian players play in the NBA G League. We have 3-on-3 leagues running in India, and recently even you got a contract with Puma. So obviously Indian basketball is on the rise. And where do you think it'll be in the near future?
I think 10 years from now, because because we've been hearing Reliance is going to start a league with the NBA in India. But I would say realistically, I mean, I'm not just going to go say agle 2-3 saal mein, but I'd say like 5 to 7 years from now, even if not 10, India will be on the map and there will be a bunch of leagues. And hopefully in 10 years time, people can just be playing basketball full time and they won't really have to do anything else. And I'm gonna pave the way. I'm gonna be that guy, man. I want to pave the way for all the younger generation.
So you talk about how you've played abroad multiple times for many years. So what do you feel are the key differences in the style of the game and the way it's conducted in, for example, Canada and India?
There is a huge difference. So the amount I played college ball for 1 year in Canada, the amount I learned in a year from playing over there is way more than I ever learned all my life playing in India. So just the way, like the coaches, they actually cared about the players, and just the way they trained. I mean, it's actually given proper importance. You know what I mean? Coaches actually care for the kids. Here, coaches just like, even when I've seen I play for other in different Indian clubs, like coaches don't give a shit, man. They're just gonna come sit on the side, drink their fucking tea, and tell players go run and play. That's so stupid. That's not the way you play. So outside, they literally tell you how to play the game. There's a huge gap that we're missing right now, and India really needs to cover up on that. Get better coaches, man.
So just talking about some incidents that you've probably faced on court, has it ever been that you've lashed out at a teammate, or you've just, due to some reason or something that they've done in the game, you just feel like, I don't want this specific guy on my team, just get him off right now? Has that ever happened with you?
So man, for me, the thing is, I have been very frustrated because I play like the way I play. I'm very aggressive when I play, right? I play with a lot of passion. So if I'm putting 110% when I'm playing, and someone else is gonna give me a half-ass 70-60%, obviously I'm not gonna be okay with that, right?
Yeah.
So for me, I mean, I'm not gonna take names, but I have had a few teammates where I'm like, man, like, what are you doing? You know what I mean? But at the end of the day, like in my mind, any team I play on, I kind of like to be the leader on that team. Unless I'm playing with Indy, Big, or Kiran, then I'm not the leader. But any other team I'm playing on, I like to lead that team. So even if I do get pissed off, I never, ever lash out, especially in front of anybody else. If I'm going to give my teammate shit, I'm going to give it to him on the side because I don't want his confidence to fucking drop down.
Yeah.
I have lashed out, but I've done that after the games. I've never done that in front of other people.
Have you ever lashed out with an official or your coach?
Yeah. With my coach, never. With officials, yeah. Like the streetball league in Mumbai last year, my team owner he literally took me to the side one time. He's like, man, you need to chill. I'm just like, because if you're gonna get pissed off at the referee, I think you need to do it once every game, so the ref knows that this guy's fucking stupid. He's crazy. If I don't give him his calls, he's gonna come after me. It's actually worked in my favor every time.
That's a good strategy to use. Aryan, do you have any questions you'd like to ask?
Okay, so considering the whole Corona situation, how do you feel that's affected the game, and how have you been spending this time?
Man, so there's two ways you can look at it. Most people that I've been seeing this, like, man, sub band there, there's nothing we can do. You know, life sucks. But in my head, this is the perfect opportunity to get so far ahead of your competition that no one's going to be able to catch you. You have so much time, and you know no one else is working out or working hard at all, which is why you should work harder than ever. So for me, if anything, it's been a blessing. I'm in the best shape of my life. I've never been in such good shape. I'm probably at my peak right now because I'm practicing so much. So in my head, this is perfect, man. The longer the lockdown lasts, the better it is for me, because after this lockdown's over, I'm going to fucking kill everybody, man. That's my goal this year and for next season. I just kill everybody.
Any teammates of yours that you really love on and off the court, and you're just like, these are the people that I want to play with, and their style of game coincides with yours. So any names you'd like to give, bro?
Inderbeer Singh Gill, Kiran Shastri, and Bikramjeet Singh Gill. So these three dudes have kind of been like the older brothers to me, because they've really guided me and they've really helped me out. Because when I play with these guys, man, it's just a different feeling. It's literally like, it's crazy. When I play with these guys, I swear I can play anybody in the world and I'll feel confident beating them.
All right.
Also, where do you see yourself in the future? And also, you spoke about how the coaches in India aren't as good as the coaches abroad. So, are you and other basketball players in India trying to make a difference in the coaching system? And do you hope to become a coach yourself one day?
I don't want to become a coach. That's not what I'm going for. But I like where I see myself. So like the way I think, for me, I mean, you can be a great player, you can be one of the best players ever, but people will forget you one day. In my mind, I want to be that guy. Like, because I didn't go through the whole Indian way. Like, that's why I'm not very liked in the whole Indian basketball community, because I just came from Canada out of nowhere and I just went pro. Most of the other Indian guys went through clubs and this and that. So that's something I want to change. That's something I want to change for the players. I want to change to the players. Like, I want to give them hope. So I want to make sure, like, by the time I'm done with this, I want to change this, like, our entire country system around, and I want to be that guy to bring that fucking change, because nobody wants to stand up and somebody has to. So in like a few years from now, hopefully, like, I promise you one thing, a few years from now, every house in the country is going to know me. That's my goal. I want to be able to impact as many lives as I can. I want to give everybody, guys like you, hope, and I want to be that guy to bring that change. So that's my goal when it comes to Indian basketball, to just turn it around.
Do you ever feel under-recognized? Like, I don't want to take names either, but
No.
I have, since I've played for so many years, I have some understanding in the sport. And when I see someone play, when I see two players play with or against each other, I can somewhat understand and somewhat have an opinion on who's better. So do you feel like you've been better than someone, but they've gotten a lot more recognition than you? And I have a feeling you already know some of the names that are coming to my mind right now. But again, I'm not.
Yeah.
But has that ever demotivated you? Has that ever made you feel like, why is this happening? And why that guy? Like, he hasn't done shit this whole game. Just because, maybe because of his physical attributes, maybe because of the image he already has in the sport. Has that ever affected you in any way?
For sure, man. So this is something I've really worked on, and like, it's my mentality, because earlier the exact same thing would just completely bring me down. You know what I mean? Because I was just like, man, people probably think I suck. People don't see the amount of fucking work I'm putting in. I'm not getting any recognition. So maybe I'm not that good of a basketball player. You know what I mean? So I went through a rough patch. But now my older brother is the one who told me this, and it makes complete sense. Like, the day you stop playing for other people's validation is the day your game will completely change. Like, now, even if I walk into a court, I walk out, and not one person comes up to me and says, bro, you played a good game, I'm not just saying it. I swear to God, I don't give a shit. Because I know for a fact that nobody works harder than me. Like, I know that for a fact. So I know that, like, in my mind, I know what my value is. So I literally, like, I'm not just saying it. I don't need anybody to tell me if I'm good or I'm not good. I know what I am in my head. I know how hard I've worked. I know the shit I've been through to get here. So who the hell is a random ass person or anybody else to come and tell me, bro, I don't think you're good enough. I don't give a shit. Like, I know I'm the best player. I know I'm one of the best players in the country, and that's not going to change. And no one will ever work harder than me. So it does not affect me at all. At all.
That's a great mentality you have. And some players don't have the same mentality, but that's something that they're working on. So anything, so now I guess I'm done with my questions. Anything that Aryan or Zoravar you'd like to ask? Or
No, I think both of us are also done. So we'd like to thank you for giving us your time, and thank you for allowing us to interview you.
Before we end, is there anything that you'd like to, any incident, anything that you'd just like to add on? Anything at all?
I actually touched. You guys have. So I've done a lot of these interviews, and I've by far, like, I've enjoyed the questions you guys asked me. Have been the nicest questions you've asked, man. Like, actually shit that matters, and you're just not asking me bullshit cliche questions. So, like, little things like the mentality, things like that. So I really appreciate that, and like, I'm very glad to have kind of gotten this out, and I've said everything I wanted to. And if anybody watching, if there's anything I can help out with, any mentality, basketball related, only basketball related, slide in my DMs. I got you.
Thank you so much for those kind words, and thank you so much for joining us today. So this has been the Indian Marketplace with Dhruv Sushil Barman, and thank you guys for watching.